Hey guys, Bronco Carl 92 here. So it's Tuesday, June 4th, and this will be part 3, our final episode of the rebuild of our 727 Torqueflite transmission for Danny's first gen Cummins. Alright, so we got the valve body here. What we're going to be doing to it tonight is we're putting in a Transgo SK TFSC shift kit. We've got some springs and a peg and a couple of bushings or washers, I guess you'd call them, and a new manual valve. So I'm going to take this thing apart. We're going to give it a little extra clean, and then we'll start making the modifications to it. Got to get it all apart because I have to see what holes I have to drill in the separator plate. Which means I guess I'm going to have to go inside and find my drill index. Sizes, or I can actually measure them with a caliper. I guess I can do that too. These screws are all T25. So I uploaded part 2 of the video. It's about a half hour long. It looks like it's going to take forever to upload. It actually took me a long time to edit it tonight, so it's actually kind of late now. It's almost 9:45. So, but who needs sleep? You die, you get all the sleep you need, I heard. Sam Elliott Roadhouse. Okay, so there's our first plate. Here's our valve body with all the different check balls in it. Mine, that's tight. Jeez. I suspect this trans is subject to a little bit of heat. Yep, there's garbage in here too. Alright, and there's another check ball. Okay, so let's see, which plate do we have here? Okay. Need to clean that. Alright, I'm gonna go clean this. Be back. Alright, so we got our stuff cleaned up. I took the plate over here and I marked which holes that need to enlarge. I marked them with a Sharpie. So this hole over here, A, I'm going to increase to 0.120, and B, which is over here, I'm going to bring up to 0.93, or 93 thousandths, I guess you'd say. And then C over here is already big, so we can leave that one alone. And D is already big, so we can leave that one alone. So I just basically have to drill 2 holes in here. So let's start with A. And then the smaller bit. For B over here. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to firm up the 1-2 shift a little bit. And what I'd like to do is, on the smaller hole, since it didn't come out that clean, just use the larger drill. Just chamfer it just a tad. This side. That side. And of course we want to do the same thing with the other hole we made. Just give that a little chamfer also. That's good. Put that aside. Okay, so now we have to change our manual valve out. Now I remember the last time I did this, I did it on my Dodge, on my pickup, and pulling this E-clip off, I used like a 45-degree angle pick, and I managed to put the tip of the pick right through my finger, this finger here. So I'm not going to do that again. I'll use a little screwdriver instead. Take that off, and there's a ball and a spring over here that we gotta try not to lose. And we didn't, which is good. And take out the manual valve. There's the old one. And here's our new one. So I believe the reason we're changing the manual valve is so we have lube pressure when we're in park. And that way the converter doesn't drain down, if that's what I remember correctly. Okay, so now we have to file a notch, so let me get some stuff. Okay, I remember this step now from the other truck. So I basically have to take a file and I have to just file a notch across here. I think it might be easier if I stick this in the vise to do that, so I'm going to go do that and I'll be back in a second with it. Alright, so we made our notch as per the instructions. Now we have to put our valve in. Okay, so that's in place. Then our spring and our ball. And then we use this thing called a mumbly peg and that you stick between the ball and the housing here, and that smartly holds the ball in place. Stick our let's see here, how does this go? Okay, so this goes on here like this. And our mumbly peg falls out. Look at that. Gil, you're so smart. TV rod goes back on. Throttle valve rod. Or TV. And then our E-clip. Okay. Okay, so we're at the point where we have to start putting this back together. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stick our check balls in. So we have a 11/32 big guy that goes here. And then the rest of them are all 1/4 inch. Here. 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 And here for 77 and up models. So they're all in place. Next, we have a couple of new springs that go on the pressure regulating valve. There's first this spring seat that goes on the valve head. And then the seat. And then inner, outer spring. And our original converter spring says to reuse that. And at this point, we should take our plate, separator plate. We'll put that back together. Actually, I have a filter here. There wasn't a filter in here before, but we're going to put one in here now. I have a little reinforcement plate that goes on here. So you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now that that's together loosely, bring this in place like this. Fit up a couple of screws. And I'm just going to tighten a couple of these to keep everything steady. I know you guys are waiting for this thing to fly and shoot springs all over the place. But it didn't happen. Alright, I'm going to finish tightening up these screws. I'll find my torque wrench and I'll put you guys back on in a little bit. Alright, so I'm all torqued up. 35 inch-pounds for all the valve body bolts. Last thing I have to do here is adjust the pressure regulator spring. That's this adjustment here. Basically, you just want to back the screw out. That's with this kit, of course, until the adjuster. That's the wrong way. So you just tighten this down. And that moves this shim over here. And there's basically zero pressure on that spring now. And that's that. One rebuilt valve body. All nice and clean. Let's go drop this in the trans. Alright, before we put the valve body in, it might be easier to show you the band adjustment. So what you do to adjust the bands is you back the nut off and you tighten this down. You basically tighten the band down to 72 inch-pounds. I'll tell you, this is much easier to do on a table than it is when the trans is in the vehicle. And while we're at it, might as well do the same for the front band. Okay. And the next step is to back the adjustment off for the reverse band 2 turns, and for the forward band 2.5 turns. One, two. Then hold it tight and tighten your pinch bolt, or your pinch nut. So half, one, half, two, half. Okay. adjusted. Alright, next, I put our valve body in. If you're wondering why I don't have my gloves on now, the only reason why I had them on before was the parts wash solvent that I used to clean the valve body is pretty rough on your hands, so that's what the gloves are for. The transmission fluid doesn't necessarily bother me. So the park rod just fits down in there. Another job that's really fun underneath the vehicle. Helps if you rotate the output shaft a little bit. Okay, we're in park. That's good. And finally, our valve body bolts. It's nice to be in the home stretch here. And now torque is 100 inch-pounds. Is there a particular order? I don't think so. Our filter adapter. Since this is for a deep pan. The new filter looks a lot nicer than the one I took off. And these are 35 inch-pounds like the valve body bolts were. The ones that hold the valve body together. Not to be confused with the ones that hold it to the case. It's interesting how the filter pulls down like that. And that's that. Pan gasket. Filter magnet. Pan magnet, excuse me. And pan. And we have one extra pan screw that, remember, we found in the attached to the magnet when we took this baby apart. It's this guy right here. I'll have to explain that one, believe me. Alright, I'm going to run these down, torque them up, and I'll put the linkage on, and I'll get you back on in a sec. Alright, so pan bolts are all snug. Torque them 15 foot-pounds. Once Danny gets this installed in the truck, he's going to pull this pan off and put the Mag High Tech pan on here that that he has. He figured that this will just get beaten up, and while I kill the Mag High Tech pan, when you can kill this crappy rusty pan. So all I have to do is put our link rods on. One of them's bent, so I'll go straighten that out and we'll put you back on in a second. Okay, so it looks like that's a wrap for tonight. Here's our trans done. I found the dipstick, put a new O-ring on that, stuck that in there. Straightened out the linkage and bolted that on. There's the wiring, I guess that was part of the dipstick. I just kind of hung that in place. And he can come pick this up tomorrow. Oh yeah, there's the pile of scrap, in case he wants to see it. So anyhow, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys soon. Take care.